Tonight, a tense exchange on Capitol Hill is putting President Trump's tariff strategy under a microscope, and the stakes could not be higher for American workers, prices at the checkout line, and the broader economy. Senator Elizabeth Warren did not mince words, warning that the United States may be headed straight toward a recession if Congress does not act. If you want clear, no-nonsense breakdowns of moments like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you never miss an update.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Donald Trump is single-handedly driving this economy off a cliff. With no evidence to back him up, he's claimed emergency authorities to slap new tariffs on nearly every product we import from nearly every country. But Congress has the power to reverse these tariffs, and we should do so immediately. Tariffs can be a tool to help build things in America, but Trump has slapped tariffs on, then off again with no rhyme or reason. And the uncertainty about the long-term rules makes companies far less likely to invest in manufacturing or jobs here in the United States. If Congress doesn't stand up to Trump, economists predict a recession before the end of the year. And Fed Chair Jerome Powell says we're in a real danger of, quote, both higher unemployment and higher inflation. Translation, Trump's tariffs will push millions of workers out of jobs and push prices up at the same time. So, Ambassador Greer, we've heard a lot of conflicting statements about whether these tariffs are here to stay, how many more rounds of on-off we're going to do. So let me ask the question from a different perspective. Ambassador Greer, we lost 700,000 jobs each month in the last recession. If 700,000 Americans lose their jobs, will the Trump administration suspend these tariffs?
Senator, I think the economists who are making these projections, who often are in favor of fully unfettered free trade, are the same ones who said in the first Trump term that putting tariffs on something that's going to happen.
Let me just stop you there. I'm not asking about projections. I'm asking if the numbers show that 700,000 people have lost their jobs because of these new tariffs that Trump has slapped on, will the administration reverse course and lift those tariffs?
Senator, that's not going to happen. We've lost 5 million manufacturing jobs over the years, which is the number I'm most worried about, and we have to get those jobs back.
So I take that as a no. Let me try another one. Moody's says that if the Trump tariffs remain in place, we will definitely plunge into a recession, which will ultimately cost 3.5 million Americans their jobs. So, Ambassador Greer, if Trump's tariffs push 3.5 million people out of work, will the Trump administration reverse course and lift those tariffs?
Senator, the Wall Street analysts are wrong. They never want to have any kind of change to the status quo.
Right or wrong.
But that's who you're quoting to me, Senator.
I'm giving you a number. If the number is 3.5 million, if it never comes to pass, you don't have to worry about your answer. But if 3.5 million people lose their jobs because of these tariffs, is the Trump administration prepared to lift them?
Right now, this minute, we're working on negotiations with countries who believe they can achieve reciprocity with us and get their trade deficit down. And that's the emergency we're focused on. There's not going to be a situation where years from now we've lost millions of jobs.
Let me try one more time. If Trump tariffs push workers out of their jobs and raise prices, as Fed Chair Powell has predicted, will you reverse course then?
I think also with respect to Chairman Powell, who I don't know personally, but I know the president makes decisions on trade, and he rarely takes advice from Chairman Powell on this. We found in Trump 1 that you could put tariffs on China and you could make it work and have lower income, lower unemployment, lower inflation, and increase real median household income over time as we reshore. And that's what we have to do, Senator.
What I'm hearing you say is that no one can hear a rhyme or reason to why the tariffs are off again, on again, off again, on again. But what you're telling us is the fact that hundreds of thousands, even millions of people could lose their jobs and that prices could go up will not be a factor for you or for Donald Trump for rolling those tariffs back. Look, if Republicans are serious about protecting American jobs and fighting inflation, then they can join Democrats right now to pass a resolution to fix Trump's reckless tariffs. This economy is teetering on the edge of collapse. We have the power right here in the Senate and over in the House of Representatives to take this authority away from Donald Trump. We can get this voted on. Senator Wyden and I have already are about to introduce the bill to do that. And if Republicans are serious about not playing the red light, green light with tariffs, but instead about protecting our economy, our families, our jobs, and keeping prices low, then Republicans should join us on that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Welch.
Thank you. You know, there's a place for tariffs on China. Targeted tariffs make some sense. What is being rolled out and the way this is being done is so destructive and so reckless and so
Warren
irresponsible
opened by framing
that
tariffs
it's
as a
creating
tool
nothing
that can
but
work when
economic
used
chaos.
carefully, but she argued that what we are seeing now is something very different. According to the senator, the Trump administration has imposed sweeping tariffs on imports from nearly every major trading partner, then lifted them, then threatened to reimpose them again, all without a clear long-term plan. That uncertainty, she says, is poison for investment. Companies do not build factories or hire workers when they do not know what the rules will look like 6 months from now. Before we go further, this is exactly the kind of context mainstream clips leave out, so hit subscribe if you want deeper explanations instead of sound bites. To underscore the risk, Warren cited warnings from economists and from Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, who has cautioned that the economy now faces the dangerous combination of higher unemployment and higher inflation at the same time. That is a rare and painful scenario, often referred to as stagflation, where workers lose jobs while everyday costs keep climbing. Warren translated it bluntly. Tariffs could cost millions of jobs while also pushing prices higher for families. And if you find this kind of plain language breakdown useful, go ahead and subscribe for more. Then came the key moment. Warren shifted from forecasts to accountability. She asked Ambassador Jamieson Greer a simple question framed around real people, not abstract models. During the last recession, about 700,000 Americans lost their jobs each month. If job losses reached that level again as a result of these tariffs, would the administration suspend them? It was a yes or no question, and the answer never came. Instead, Greer pushed back on economists themselves, suggesting that many of the warnings come from analysts who favor unrestricted free trade and oppose any disruption to the status quo. Warren immediately cut in, making clear she was not asking about ideology or predictions, she was asking about responsibility. If the data showed massive job losses, would the administration change course? Greer's response was telling. He said bluntly that it was not going to happen. And if you want to keep understanding what answers like that really mean, make sure you subscribe. Warren tried again, this time citing Moody's Analytics, which estimates that keeping the tariffs in place could trigger a recession, costing 3.5 million Americans their jobs. Once again, she asked if that level of damage would be enough to reverse course. Once again, the answer was no. Greer dismissed Wall Street analysts as resistant to change and argued that the real priority is recovering the 5 million manufacturing jobs lost over decades. The implication was clear. Even severe job losses now would not prompt an immediate rollback. This exchange reveals something deeper than a policy disagreement. It exposes a fundamental divide over how economic pain is measured and who is expected to bear it. The administration is betting that short-term job losses and higher prices are acceptable costs in pursuit of long-term trade leverage. Warren is arguing that those costs fall on real families in real time and that Congress has a duty to step in before the damage becomes irreversible. If you want ongoing coverage that connects these dots instead of just replaying the clip, hit subscribe and stay with us. Finally, Greer emphasized that the administration is focused on negotiations with other countries, aiming for what it calls reciprocity and reduced trade deficits. But the hearing made one thing unmistakably clear. There is no explicit job loss threshold that would trigger a pause or reversal of tariffs. For workers worried about layoffs and consumers already feeling price increases, that is not an abstract debate. It is a warning sign. We will keep tracking how these policies unfold and what they mean for jobs, inflation, and your wallet. Subscribe now so you do not miss the next development, because this story is far from over.